I've wanted this since 1984. It only took 41 years to get. There are some pieces that you collect that you just get super excited to get. This is one of them. Is it the history, the design, the nostalgia? The TIE Interceptor, released in 1984. Let's go over its history, what it came with, and for how much, as I get one step closer to my goal, collecting them all. Welcome back to the channel, and I'm glad that you're here as we go on this journey together. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button to learn more about these vintage toys, their history, and what they're worth today. All right, imagine that you're sitting inside an X-Wing. You're doing your patrol, and in the distance, you see a squad of TIE fighters approaching, but you're used to seeing those. You've seen them so many times that you can predict their movements. But then behind them, you see a new TIE that you've never seen before. Their wings look like the claws of an eagle, just ready to rip you apart. Imagine the terror on those pilots' faces as those TIEs just scream past them for the first time. All right, maybe just a little bit dramatic. Here is the short history of the TIE Fighter Interceptor. The TIE Fighter Interceptor was first seen in the Battle of Endor for the climactic dogfighting sequences in Return of the Jedi. But in canon, they were prototyped as early as 14 BBY, that stands for before the Battle of Yavin, and rolled out into official Imperial Navy use in 3 BBY. At Industrial Light and Magic, the design would be modified from the original TIE Fighter concepts from original model maker Colin Cantwell, in which Joe Johnston gave additional details. And Kenner would use the original blueprints as the base to create and engineer the Interceptor toy.
Return of the Jedi. The TIE Interceptors are on a mission, but here comes the B-Wing fighter with its adjustable wings and gravity-controlled cockpit. It's a hit. But wait, will the B-Wing's warning buzzer bring help, or will the Empire be victorious? Only you can decide with Star Wars toys.
The TIE Interceptor was actually the fourth and final TIE fighter produced for the Star Wars line of toys. The first being in 1978 with the original white Imperial TIE Fighter. Then in 1979 came Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, followed by the blue battle-damaged Imperial TIE Fighter. All of the TIEs included a button that popped off the wings to simulate battle hits, and they all included another button that made a laser buzzing sound. And they all included hatches that opened to house an action figure. And in 1984, the final installment of the TIE Fighters, the TIE Interceptor, would be no different. The design was faithful to the Return of the Jedi film, and this was at the height of Kenner's designing and toy engineering, which most collectors agree had gotten really good. The fuselage was identical to the other TIE Fighter toys that came before it, but in this go-around, it used the same cockpit bay door that the battle-damaged TIE Fighter used. And color-wise, Kenner's Interceptor had its own gunmetal gray color, which set it apart from the others released, and in my opinion, is the best coloring of the vintage TIE Fighters. To watch the full, unedited unboxing, go to my Patreon page and become a member, or become a member right here on YouTube starting at 99 cents a month by hitting the join button. Becoming a channel supporter on Patreon or YouTube allows me to keep making these videos week after week, so thank you. When you get these items shipped to you, it's super important that you buy from trusted sellers who will not only make sure that what you're getting is authentic and just as advertised in the pictures or videos they sent, but once purchased, they will ship to you in a timely manner, and also that when they ship, the items inside are protected. That's why when buying items that tend to be on the more fragile side, I buy from collectors who not only know what they are selling, but those who care about packaging and that the items get to you safely and unscathed, even if they are supposed to be battle damaged. And the item that we got is in great shape and was packaged perfectly. So let's go through what came with the TIE Fighter Interceptor if you would have gotten it in 1984. The box art is interesting because this shows a stormtrooper in the cockpit of the Interceptor, at a time when the TIE Fighter figure was introduced 4 years before this. When I was talking to Kim Simmons, the photographer who took these photos, he told me that the marketing and creative team from Kenner and Lucasfilm gave them the figures that they were supposed to use, and without seeing the film, Kim and his team had to use what was given. The other box sides show a child playing with the Interceptor, showing off the wing pop-off features. Inside the box would have come a cardboard insert housing the broken down TIE parts. These are rare to find these days, as this was the first thing to end up in the trash back in 1984.
You really have to be careful when you're taking out the cardboard because it can snag on the edge flaps and just rip those babies right off. No mold on the cardboard, which is kind of funny to say, but a lot of the times you will find these cardboard inserts and they will have a lot of mold on it.
The TIE Interceptor would have come in 3 pieces, 2 wings and the round fuselage. It also would have come with 2 solar panel wing sticker sheets. And you can't forget the paperwork, the instruction manual, and a Return of the Jedi catalog.
And what super nostalgia to go through this paperwork like you would have gotten it as a kid in 1984. It's those memories that you conjure up being right back in 1984 when you're sitting down with your parents or one of your uncles or your grandparents and they're helping you put this together for the first time and you're so excited and you just want to play with it. I think it's the paperwork just as much as getting the figures or the toys themselves. But I mean, talk about nostalgia again, going through these. And I remember just being a kid and being in awe and so excited. I remember just sitting on the carpet in my grandma's living room, just looking at these and reading every word and just dreaming of one day getting these. This is my one day. This is now.
The wings are pretty easy to attach to the fuselage. The cockpit bay latch opens up to have one figure sit inside. The seat can be pulled up using the lever. To access the battery compartment, turn the fighter upside down and slide off the battery compartment. The Interceptor takes 2 AA batteries, and I suggest that when you have this stored or not in use, take out the batteries so you can avoid corrosion. The laser cannon button is just behind the cockpit bay doors. Press down to hear the laser cannon. A red laser light under the cockpit window will brighten up when the laser button is pressed. I bet our parents got super annoyed with that sound. To simulate battle damage and have the wings come off, press the buttons down that are located on the fuselage shaft of the wings. Press the buttons down that are located on the fuselage shafts just before the wings. When you're looking to collect this piece, look out for the tips of the wings. Often you're going to find these areas damaged or missing. And always check the battery compartment to make sure it isn't corroded and that the electronics work. To me, this is the best designed TIE out of the entire TIE Fighter group. And I can't wait to have the entire fleet of them inside my collection. But I wish that Kenner would have made the TIE Bomber. I mean, who didn't like seeing that in The Empire Strikes Back? Just so menacing. But the Interceptor, with its amazing and faithful design to the movie, its grandness and scale when you display it, and its play features, this is one of the classic toys of the 1980s. And if you're doing a full run of the vintage Star Wars vehicles and ships, this is an essential item in order for your run to be considered complete. So let's finally check this off our list. The TIE Interceptor from 1984 that we got for $400 even from our friend James C. over at the Vintage Alliance Facebook group. And you can get this checklist for yourself over at thepadawancollector.com. We've just scratched the surface on this journey, and we have so many more hunts to go on as we try to collect all the ships and vehicles from the vintage Kenner Star Wars line.
When you get these, and I should just take a picture of it right now, so that way when I do put it together and put it back inside the box, I know how it came. I always forget and I have to look at reference photos.
And to find out what's next, hit the videos on your screen now. And as always, my friends, Thank you, and I will see you next time.